What's going on, guys? We had two fat trades today on the MES SPY futures and RBZ. Now, there were a couple stocks, there was a bunch of stocks actually that were gapping up, but they were all kind of crap to me. Like, they all had really tiny volume. They didn't have a history of moving, that much. It was never that much volume on this stock. Or they're too low a price, and they're not enough volume. They're all in like this dollar range. I don't like that range as much as I liked RBZ. So RBZ here was by far my favorite. So I was looking for levels on the daily. I can already see that this thing has a history of moving, and I remember this stock from before. It's always kind of gone crazy and then come back down, gone crazy, come back down. It has a history of moving, and I like that. I like that it had some decent volume pre-market here. I like that it was kind of forming a pattern. We were staying up near the highs. So I wanted to look for some levels. So the levels I found on the daily chart were this top right here on high volume. I just marked that out. What is that, 439? I didn't really count these levels. I counted this level because it's the highest top in this area. So 473, and then this one of 513, I think. Yeah, 513. So those are just the levels that I was using from the daily. And then when I switch back to the 1 minute here, very easily visible. And you can see that it was somewhat respecting these levels pre-market. Now, I also drew a trend line here, and I think this was really key to my trading on RBZ today. And this kind of helped me find an entry. Now, I knew that there would be this pocket like right in here with VWAP, with this trend line, with this support, that would give me a good entry somewhere in here for an opening range breakout and a squeeze. That was the plan. What was the news today? It was they announced an expansion plan, whatever. I don't really care about that. As long as it's something that's decent and it has a reason to be up. Only 13-14% at the time, which wasn't too absurd. So the market opens. I'm trying to get my entries here. I just take kind of stabs at it at this level because this isn't the full risk that I'm willing to take. So I was taking like 300 shares, 300 shares, 400 shares to 1,000 shares. And then I stopped out for $100. Now, I'm still working on this, and I'm still clearly not very good at it. And that is my stop placement. I identified this level perfectly, 425, as like the bottom of the line support. And I stopped out before it. And then it bounced off, it double bottomed. And once it double bottomed, I rebought back in on this candle. I actually tried to buy down here with 2,000 shares with just a 5 or 6 cent risk for another $100 risk. And I got filled up here, but thankfully it just kind of kept surging and it never came back down. So I didn't have to make the decision whether or not to sell again at my risk, but on support. So that happened, and then the trade started working out. We stayed in this level for a little bit, and then once we broke through, I just started selling up past the highs here of 455. Got filled at 459. I got some more out at 470, and then I only had 300 shares left at this point, so I added back to 1,000 shares once we came down to the high that we broke out of, 455. You can see right here. So we came back down to it. I added to 1,000. I was just waiting for a pop back over this 1 minute candle or over this one, which I thought was kind of, because we were making higher lows, higher low, higher low. I thought we would kind of curl and then fall apart, and I would sell most of the shares in here for an even bigger gain. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. The last, what was it? Yeah, down to, bought 700 shares, up to 1,000 shares, and then sold 1,000 shares at 450. I had a stop in, I think it was at 451 or 450, so I got filled immediately, just right before this drop. Right before this drop here. It was absolutely brilliant. Perfect stop placement. So I'm happy about that. Now, what could I have done better? I always pull the trigger a little bit too early, and I did that on the SPY, and I'll show you that I did that on the SPY, but it's just this is my next vice that I'm having a lot of trouble fixing, because I just cannot stop doing it. Like, I didn't think we would dump a little further when it came to these first buys, so I started adding here. It's like, if I had just waited for the level 425, I could have gone 1,500 shares or 2,000 here and not already had a $100 loss and then been up an absolutely ridiculous amount up here. But it's going to take me some time. I think I'm getting distracted by VWAP. I don't know what it is that is holding me back from just fixing this problem, but I'm working on it, and it is getting better. You know, I used to be buying up in here and then stopping out and then waiting for it to surge and buying back up in here. So I'm getting a lot better, but it's just such a slow progression that it just takes so much time. So let's go to the MES. I'll show you what I was doing here. I'll go to the SPY so I can show you exactly what I was doing. This is my summary for today, just in case I didn't show it, I forgot. So I'm still in some contracts for the MES, and I'll show you what's going on with that. So just the two stocks today. With the overtrading, the stopping out, and rebuying, my commissions on RBZ are high, and they kind of suck. But with the MES, I'll show you what happened. So I was looking for a play around the 295.38 level. That was the previous high from, what is this? May 1st of last year. I just thought that this would be a super important level. And then when it came around to the next time we made an all-time high, right around here, it really, really respected it just before it dumped and then came back up again. So I was watching for it to do stuff around this level. I really, really like this level, and it actually respected it today and yesterday. And other than that, we don't have much data for that, because this is the line right here. So, because there's a giant gap right here. So I marked that one out, and then I had these secondary kind of levels here. I had 296. I had 294.95 kind of from the pre-market low. I had 294.50 from yesterday and the day before. So I was just trying to find a trade somewhere in here, and I eventually found it. Initially we came under right here. We came under. So as we came back up, I tried to short it for a move back down towards the gap fill, which is actually down here. And then I was going to long that bottom for a move up towards 300. But what happened after this disgusting candle was we had an even more disgusting bullish engulfing candle where we closed above the highs here. I got stopped out on the way up on the MES. $100 loss. Completely fine. I had my hard stop in. I'm not screwing up those stops anymore. So that happened, and then I think I was trading RBZ at the same time, so I was up over 200 on RBZ, down 100 on the MES, so I was up like 150, 130, something like that on the day. And I said, okay, so I got stopped out of this because it ripped. I stopped out of my short. Usually when that happens, it's a good long. So I was waiting for confirmation of it to be a good long. So after this whole candle closed above, on or above 295.38, I took the long right in here. I think it was right in here. I'll show the chart. And then I added more. Let me just show it because I'm kind of confused right now. Right, so that big bullish engulfing candle, I got stopped out of my short, $100 loss right here, and then I started longing it as it came back down into the level, And then I didn't take that much size because we're still in this weird kind of, like, we don't know which way it's going. And then after this candle, after it didn't stuff, because it was about to stuff down here with these wicks, it was about to stuff, but then it didn't. It just absolutely squeezed straight through back up to the high of day, or the open price. I said, okay, I'm going full size on a pullback. So it pulled back into this consolidation range. There isn't really a level in here other than VWAP and a kind of a trend line. So I tried to get as close to this trend line as I could. I added to 20 contracts right here. I was never down more than about 100. I think it was $80. Like it was never a giant unrealized loss, which is why I'm really happy with that progress, because I finally had patience. But again, I'm still adding maybe a little bit early here, but I didn't add too much size. I added the size right here with a tight stop, respecting my risk. So we consolidated, we broke out of this, and we had a massive squeeze up towards that 296 level on the SPY, and I was just selling on the way up. I knew that, so the level is right around here on the MES as well. I knew that we would start squeezing up and probably make it all the way towards 296. So I'm selling in two. Yes, I'm selling two at a time. Two. I just didn't know when it would stop, and I didn't know if we would squeeze all the way up. So this is the trouble I'm having, and I would really appreciate some feedback below. Does this constitute as selling early? Like, I was waiting for the breakout of this. So really, this was my level. It broke out, and then I started selling in this pocket, between this pocket and where I thought that it could go maximum. So I think this is fine, but you know, I'm just thinking in my head like, oh, if I had just waited and sold these all up here, I'd be up an extra $200. But if it had have reversed right here, and I didn't sell all of these, and then it came back down, I wouldn't feel so stupid. Or like if it did that and then came up and I sold more. So this is just kind of the struggle I'm going through. But anyways, I was selling two, and then like one, I think, and I still have 5 left. I have a stop on those. I don't know why it's not showing my stop. Am I on the wrong? Oh, it's on this monitor for some reason. So my stop is at 2,967.50, right around in here. If it doesn't hold this level and then make new highs, I think it's gonna continue to fall. So I'm protecting myself with that stop loss for the last 5 contracts. So that was that. That was my plan. That was the execution. I hope that wasn't too rambly. I gotta get out of here. I got some things to do. I'm gonna go to the gym. Glad that I'm done trading already. Yesterday was Canada Day, and for some reason I thought it was an American holiday, and I do this every single year. Like, oh, Canada Day, it's an American thing. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, hold on, let's figure this out right now. Stock market holidays. Let's get this over here. So, who's that? No, get off this channel. Get out of here. What is this? What are we? June, July. So Wednesday. Oh, that's tomorrow. Is that today? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow we close at 1. And we're closed all of Thursday. So actually, I got a lot of days off this week. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. I guess we won't be here on Thursday. And I think that's it. I don't know if there's really much else to say. We're getting close to 1,400 subs. Really appreciate it, guys, if you hit that sub button. Feels really good. It's nice to know that people find this interesting, educational, or not. So, we'll see you tomorrow.